Coming up in the half hour, land titles distributed and rainwater harvesting catchments increase. It's the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change 2014 Year in Review. Stick around to hear more. We also take a closer look at how climate change is predicted and hear testimonies from Jamaicans newly empowered with land titles. My name is Stacey Ann Smith and you are watching Jamaica Magazine, the program that keeps you up to date on issues of national importance. The news of the day is on the other side of this break.
What are you doing to help the fight against crime?
Sitting on the corner, minding your own business, definitely not going to work.
It is time for us to unite.
Unite.
Unite for change.
Citizens coming together to make their respective communities safer. The police, schools, public health, business, churches, NGOs, parents and neighborhood watch volunteers.
As we, the police, do our job,
We as citizens need to do our part as well.
Report crimes or even suspicious activities.
Let's all work together
As one united front against crime.
and make Jamaica the place of choice to
live, work, raise families, and do business.
Unite for Change, an initiative of the Ministry of National Security.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Thursday, January 22. Inflation declined by 3.1% in 2014 when compared to 2013. More evidence that government's economic reform program is working. Bank of Jamaica Governor Brian Winter made the announcement at a media briefing Wednesday.
For the calendar year 2014, inflation was 6.4%. That's down from 9.5% the year before. At this point, it's likely that inflation for fiscal year 2014-15 will come in below the 7 to 9% target.
The lower than anticipated inflation rate is being attributed to price adjustments in agricultural output, particularly in the October to December quarter when the sector rebounded from prolonged drought. As a result, the BOJ governor has readjusted the bank's inflation outlook for the 2015-2016 fiscal year.
So when we look ahead to September 2015, the 12-month inflation rate that we are currently forecasting will fall within the range of 3.0 to 5.0%.
Meanwhile, the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce is reporting an increase in consumer and business confidence. According to its fourth quarter indices released Tuesday, business confidence increased by 25.2% at the end of the fourth quarter. Consumer confidence also showed an increase when compared to the same period in 2013. The jump in consumer and business confidence has been attributed to government's policies and its management of the island's macroeconomic environment. Still on business news, operators of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises (MSMEs) can now source information on financing and technical assistance for their businesses online. On Wednesday, the Development Bank of Jamaica and the UWI Monash School of Business launched a $14.4 million database called Jamaica's MSME Finance Directory. It's designed to address some of the challenges faced by entrepreneurs in setting up and expanding their businesses.
Jamaica's MSME Finance Directory is one such response to a need that we have identified. Not only is this directory meeting a recognizable need to redress an information imbalance in the marketplace, but it is also a demonstration of what can happen when academia, government, and business collaborate for the benefit of all concerned.
Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton has welcomed a new agreement to develop biomedicines on the island. The technical agreement was signed Wednesday between the Dr. Henry Lowe-led Biotech R&D Institute and biotech and biomed firm True Bios Communications out of Mexico. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Hilton said the agreement was timely as government seeks to develop a medical marijuana industry.
This is an opportunity for this merger to occur and to thrive and to produce, as we expect, the jobs and the wealth creation that this country richly deserves and is preparing itself for.
Jamaicans can look forward to the benefits of a clean energy program being undertaken by government in collaboration with the United States of America. Under the project, the U.S. government will provide technical assistance, training and support to build the human resource capacity of the government and energy sector entities. At Wednesday's MOU signing, Energy Minister Philip Paulwell said the program will focus on energy conservation and efficiency, as well as the expansion of renewable energy usage.
Despite the falling price of energy today, Jamaica is even more resolute and committed to continue on this path of energy conservation and efficiency, energy diversification, to embrace the newer, cleaner fuels, and of course, fully take on board renewables. And we intend through this MOU to exploit those to the fullest.
Both governments will also work at establishing the framework for clean energy development, integrating renewables into the national grid, and increase private sector investment in clean energy.
Clean energy formalizes several of the activities our two governments are undertaking to break Jamaica's dependence on fossil fuels by furthering the renewable energy sector.
And finally, more jobs and training opportunities for the blind and visually impaired are expected outcomes of a two-day social enterprise summit set for January 26 and 27 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. At a recent GIS think tank, organizers said the summit marketplace was aimed at increasing employment, investment and revenue within select communities across Jamaica, working with social enterprises.
At the summit, you'll be able to buy products, you'll be able to learn about what other organizations are doing, and you're able to network and collaborate with other organizations.
The summit is a partnership between the Jamaica National Foundation's Social Enterprise Boost Initiative and the United States Agency for International Development. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Nicky baby, come here. You understand, so I have to send you to your auntie so you can go to school and turn out better than me.
When I go be my time. Piggy, come finish your work.
If you or anyone you know has been a victim of human trafficking, call 811 or 1-888-PROTECT. Be wise. Open your eyes. Spot them. Stop them. A message brought to you by the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons.
Millions of dollars spent to improve and expand water supply. Hundreds of Jamaicans received land titles and automatic weather stations installed to boost climate change data collection. All this happened in 2014 under the direction of the Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change. The full review is up next. In 2014, the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change worked to advance Jamaica's environmental agenda while moving the country towards a more climate change resilient populace. That work didn't happen by chance. It was all based on one of government's strategic priorities for the year: environmental and climate change resilience. $30 billion. The value of the National Water Commission's K-Factor Water Supply Improvement Project, aspects of which were rolled out in 2014. Among the initiatives, an $80 million water system upgrade for the Eastern Westmoreland water system in January, with $42 million designated to cover work in the Leamington-Cedar Valley area and $38 million covering work in the Betheltown-Argyle Mountain area. In February, Cabinet approved a $53.9 million contract for the construction of the Mount Airy Reinforced Concrete Water Storage Tank in Negril, Westmoreland. February also saw the commissioning of the Windsor Heights water supply system in St. Catherine, valued at $3 million. In April, the Thornton water supply system was developed for $36 million. The Gibraltar rainwater harvesting system was developed in June at a cost of $27 million. And the Burnt Savannah Knoxwood water supply system in St. Elizabeth was commissioned in October, reaching over 3,000 residents in the Breadbasket parish. Also in St. Elizabeth, the Portsea catchment tank was commissioned in November after undergoing major repairs at a cost of $5.3 million by the Rural Water Supply Limited. Urban areas also benefited from the commissioning of the Balata Avenue well to provide up to 1 million gallons of water per day to residents in sections of the Kingston metropolitan area.
Indeed, water is a very important resource. By providing our communities with a safe and reliable source of water, we are equipping them with the potential to attract new business and improve on existing ones.
And the island's capacity to manage its water resources was strengthened in 2014 with the signing of a $98,000 contract between Jamaica and Brazil in August. All this even as the National Water Commission copped the regional prize for the best tasting quality drinking water, the third consecutive time Jamaica has won that award. A prolonged drought that ravaged the country and produced some of the hottest months on record. It made water one of the biggest stories of 2014. But the administration rose to the occasion. The Water Ministry implemented a number of drought mitigation measures, trucking water to the most affected parishes, imposing water restrictions, and increasing public education on water conservation practices. In August, at the height of the drought, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller responded with another $15 million for emergency drought mitigation.
The ownership of land remains an effective means of gaining economic and social independence. As such, my ministry is working assiduously to continue the tradition of securing land ownership and building what we call the ownership society that this administration envisions as we look and work towards our Vision 2030 goal.
And that commitment to a land ownership society was further strengthened by the gains made by the Land Ministry in 2014. In February, 70 Jamaicans from the parishes of St. Mary, St. Anne and Portland received land titles. The project, which was supported by a $2.1 million grant from the Republic of Korea, closed off that month as well. 2014 also saw the expansion of the Land Administration and Management Program, LAMP2, now reaching a total of 8 parishes. It was extended by a further 10 years after receiving a $90 million grant from the Development Bank of Jamaica. As a result of that agreement, hundreds of Jamaicans received land titles throughout the year, finally becoming registered landowners.
Over 3 years, I'm trying to get my title. And I'm so happy that I have it, and my children in Canada, they are very, very happy. They are jumping now for joy because mom is finally okay.
Security of tenure and security of property rights are fundamental if we are to fight poverty and to build a great nation. This is what we mean when we say that we are creating an ownership society.
In a bid to resolve land issues facing ordinary Jamaicans, $20 million was also set aside to fund the operation of adjudication committees across 9 parishes. Draft development orders, which facilitate the development of lands, were also completed in the year for the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, Clarendon, St. Thomas and St. Catherine, excluding Portmore.
It is expected that for the first time, these development orders will bring the entire island under the control of the Town and Country Planning Act by 2017.
The National Land Agency NLA was also restructured with the implementation of technology called the Estate Management System. And as part of plans to cut down on incidents of fraud committed against registered landowners, the agency also launched an online platform called Property Watch Jamaica. The NLA was also hailed as a leader in public sector innovation and customer service by the US-based news and technology company Thomson Reuters, copping the 2014 Public Sector Champions Award from among more than 1,000 government entities worldwide.
No country can have sustained economic growth and development and social well-being without due and careful consideration of the environment. The environment is the subject that underpins each and every portfolio: agriculture, health, tourism, industry, water, climate change, and social development.
With this conviction, the administration put the environment in the forefront. Plans were solidified on the creation of a Protected Areas System Master Plan, policy that will strengthen the management of protected areas. And a comprehensive beach access and management policy was also started in the year. Work also advanced on the construction of breakwater structures of approximately 990 meters in Negril to reduce beach degradation and allow for natural growth of the beach over time. In terms of the nation's forests, revision of the 1996 Forest Act began to support the provisions of the new forestry policy, which is currently being drafted. And work advanced on the revision of the Green Paper on the Dolphin Policy for Jamaica, which addresses the management of dolphins in Jamaican waters, the trading of dolphins, and the regulation of dolphin attractions.
More than any other issue, climate change poses a direct threat to any and all attempts to achieve sustainable development and, by extension, our Vision 2030 goals.
So $27.5 million was allotted to Jamaica's Climate Change Division. From that money, 2 automatic weather stations were installed in St. Andrew and Manchester in June to enhance climate data collection by the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. Also in June, the nation hosted the International Climate Investment Fund's Partnership Forum. Over 500 participants, including policymakers, entrepreneurs, financiers, social advocates, and researchers from across the world discussing the way forward. A number of climate monitoring products and services were also developed by the ministry responsible for climate change. The products included tools for seasonal precipitation outlook, drought monitoring, and seasonal drought forecast. And in May, ground was broken for a 7-acre climate change park in Portmore St. Catherine. It was an active year for the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change, and despite the environmental challenges, policymakers worked to place Jamaica on a path to achieve sustainable development.
We agree that teamwork unifies the effort, divides the tasks, and multiplies the effect as we work with the common goal of building resilience and ensuring sustainable development.
Improving conditions for children and adolescents in need of care and protection, seeking greater opportunities for youth empowerment, enhancing Brand Jamaica through cultural policy and cultural industries framework. These were the working targets of the Ministry of Youth and Culture in 2014. Join us this Friday, January 23 for highlights, only on Jamaica Magazine.
Climate change refers to the noticeable change in climatic conditions over a period of years and is monitored and documented by special equipment. Curious to know what these are? Well, we stopped by the University of the West Indies Physics Department and talked with an expert, Dr. Tanisha Stevenson.
We've been hearing about climate change for quite some time, but what does it really mean? Well, those who should know say it refers to a distinct change in weather patterns over an extended period of time, usually lasting decades or longer. These days, when most people speak of climate change, they're talking about global warming. But climate change is a much broader term that takes into account more than surface temperature increases. Either way, it's a complex science that calls for sophisticated technologies to research, predict, and map a corrective plan where one is needed.
We do two things. So we look at present-day climate,
And what we do is we take observations that have been collected by meteorological services across the region. So we look at rainfall, max temperature, minimum temperature. And we do our statistics on them to see how climate has changed already. What we also do is we look at future climate and we run climate change models. And these are just computer models.
To better understand the complex climate system, computer programs have been developed into models that highlight the interactions of climate components. These general circulation models have been used extensively to understand climate shifts, such as this hurricane-like vortices. This model is a projection of the frequency and intensity of a hurricane in the year 2097, between July and August. It will also estimate how hurricanes are projected to change. What this means is, if average weather patterns over an extended period are significantly altered, then it indicates a change in climate change. Other models look at lightning pattern and simulators to help farmers increase their yields while mitigating against excess rain and drought periods.
A number of technologies are used. If we're looking at present-day climate, for example, and the changes that have already occurred, we rely heavily on data from our meteorological centers. So we're looking at technologies behind data collection and storage and dissemination. We also make use of satellite data. It helps us with our observations. When we run these models, we compare them to what we have in our observations to see how well the models are capturing observations. So if it is doing a pretty good job, then we have some confidence that what the model is projecting in the future will be accurate. Another thing we do with our model output is we compare it with other models to see whether there's consistency in the results. Another thing we do is to see whether the output we're seeing corresponds to the kind of signs we're expecting from climate change.
A lot of our activities revolve around climate. We know, for example, that at certain times of the year we can expect more rainfall, so we might organize our crop production cycle to align with this flush period.
We are now looking on agriculture and looking on, well, what happens in a drier, warmer climate, how will it affect yields? And we're looking on the study of how that happens. We look on other diseases, we look on the disaster risk reduction in terms of hurricanes, the number of hurricanes, the intensity of hurricanes, what does that mean for shoreline protection.
So why are we going to all this trouble? Because climate change is as much a reality for us as any other country. A look at climatic conditions over the last part of the 20th century revealed some interesting things, like an increase in the frequency of hot days and nights, a decrease in the frequency of cold days and nights, a decrease in the difference between maximum and minimum temperatures, a decline in the maximum number of consecutive dry days, and a slight drying trend in summer rainfall.
Some studies have indicated that our hurricanes would have stronger winds and more rainfall associated with it. Other studies have shown that global sea level will continue to rise, and by extension we expect that for the Caribbean.
This kind of information is useful to the process of governance. The data, if accurate, will help government identify potential and current problems and plan appropriate responses.
Up next, beneficiaries of the Korean land titling program in St. Mary share the delight of receiving their titles.
1,000 residents in the parishes of St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne have benefited from land titles courtesy of the Cadastral Mapping and Land Registration in Jamaica project, an initiative of the government of Jamaica in collaboration with the government of Korea through the Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA. Today we explore more about this initiative and hear the stories of some of the beneficiaries of this program. So come, take a walk with us.
I want to tell them that I thank them. I love what they are doing because they're doing a great job for Jamaican.
Great job indeed. 2013 saw agreements signed between the Republic of Korea by way of the Korea International Cooperation Agency (KOICA) and Jamaica, represented by the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change. It's for the land titling project that expands the LAMP2 contract, which was signed with the Koreans in 2010.
The KOICA project is basically a spin-off from the LAMP2 project, which specifically looked at a partnership between the government of Jamaica through LAMP, the Korean Cadastral Surveying Corporation out of Korea, and a private sector partner in Jamaica, Geoland Title Limited.
Through this program, many are getting the tool to access the path of personal empowerment.
Growing up, my father had never have a title. I'm dead gone, I couldn't get nothing out of it. Right? And now I have my kids them can have something.
We decided to focus on land settlements because of their history and context in our Jamaican life. Land settlements are basically lots that would have been allotted to Jamaicans, working class persons years ago. And one of the main challenges that we have had in terms of sorting out titling for these land settlements is that the surveying cost is really prohibitive. So what it is that we're doing is that the Koreans are providing the funding and actually contracting surveyors here in Jamaica to do the survey work so that we can expedite the processing of these titles for persons.
Approximately $2 million has been pumped into this land titling initiative by our Korean partners.
We KOICA team assist the LAMP program to accelerate the LAMP process.
The 3 parishes to benefit was decided after extensive study.
Those parishes came out of rigorous discussions with ourselves and our Korean partners. There was a feasibility study done, and there were actually representatives from Korea who came and looked at sites with us, visited sites. We had several of them, and they were the ones who indicated that when they looked in terms of just physical amenities, access to water, light, those were their concerns when you look to see how many children we saw when we went there at the times, whether or not the persons were involved in farming, what kind of work they did. They were the ones who guided us in terms of, okay, we think that these are the areas that we would want to assist you with.
A similar process was used to select the 1,000 beneficiaries to ensure those who needed it the most received the help. Some beneficiaries from Crooked River in Anotabe, St. Mary, shared how they came to be selected.
Them come and them put up them circle, and we read the circle and see the necessary information, and we carry the necessary document and got the location, and in the meeting, them inform us of what is taking place.
This program benefit me in a good way, because we know that in the coming future we have a title to look forward to, and we can use it to borrow money to do whatever we please.
I'm feeling very, very good, because most of all, having our own title, we can do anything with it. Can go to the bank, borrow money, because I have my little girl. She soon reach college stage, so we can get it to benefit from.
Our 30 minutes are up, but don't worry, we have another show lined up for you tomorrow. A preview includes the 2014 Year in Review of the Ministry of Youth and Culture. And remember, you can always stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. We welcome your feedback, so keep sending your comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Stacey Ann Smith. Do have a pleasant evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.